Welcome back to 30 by 30, my vlog where I do 30 things before I turn 30 years old. In this week's episode, I'm walking you through the journey of the treasure shop from open to close, and it all started back at Treasures in Mooresville one Saturday morning, shortly after 2 weeks to slow the spread when businesses were starting to reopen again. That is when and where I got the idea to open my own treasure shop after seeing this booth right here and all of the fun things that they put inside. One being this really cool antique sign that was just the icing on the cake that was like, hey Ashley, maybe you should start your own booth. I had taken my treasures home and I was like, I think I might be able to do this. So I went to Gillies Antique Mall, which is about 5 minutes away from my house, on getting more information on becoming a dealer. Before you knew it, I was looking at booth spaces there. I had roped my friend Jessie into starting the booth with me. We met Judy, who has many booths at Gillies, and gave us a ton of really good tips. What I thought would become a 2021 venture soon became a 2020 pandemic project. We started shopping at yard sales and moving sales and estate sales. We looked on the north side, we looked on the west side. Our favorites were probably the community sales, where they had a ton of people selling stuff in one area. The US 40 yard sale, that was a blast. We found so many cool things there, and at one point, they were literally just giving us boxes of stuff for free. Other places we looked at were the Goodwill Outlet Mall. That was an amazing place to get items because you pay per the pound. It's basically things that don't sell at Goodwill, like the actual store. They put them in these bins and you literally just search through them. They switch out the bins like every hour or so, and it's crazy. If you've never been, it's crazy. You might want to bring some gloves to search through stuff, but we really found some really good items there. We did look at some Goodwill, just the regular stores, but it was more exciting and less expensive to go to the outlet mall, that's for sure. Other things we did were we looked at other antique malls just to see what they had, see what they were pricing things at. I actually found one of my grandpa's signs that he used to sell at craft shows. It was a Weird Dairy sign at the Ohio Valley Antique Mall, which was just crazy to see his work out in the world at an antique mall. Speaking of handmade things, Jessie and I, more so I would say Jessie, crafted a lot of things that we put in the booth. So we either took things that we bought at the yard sales and crafted them, or we repurposed them, refinished them, and gave them new life so they would find a new home. Jessie and I both had a lot of people who knew what we were doing, and they graciously gave us things that they were getting rid of or things that they saw at our yard sales that they had been to. And so we really, honestly, pretty quickly built up our stockpile of stuff so that soon we would be able to put all of those items into our booth at Gillies.
Just had a meeting with Kim from Gillies and so excited. Things are going to be rocking and rolling soon enough. Can't wait to take you in on this journey with us. Yay! So I just met with Kim and got the scoop, got some more info, so thought I would update you real quick. I know we were originally looking at E9, but there's actually a bunch of 4x5s. And there's two 4x10s if we want to go that route, or there is an 8x10 in the other area, and it was actually like really cool. I took pictures of all this stuff so I could send it to you. She was saying that if we want to do any bigger furniture, because like that's where you make more money, so like it'll pay for your booth, but it's hard to get a lot of like big stuff in a smaller booth. But she did say that a lot of people like starting off just to like see if it'll go okay, they'll start off in a small booth. We're good to start whenever. She does have some people moving out at the end of July, so we could get in August for those, or if we wanted to start sooner, that's fine. She can prorate the rent. So that's exciting. Jessie, I did mention you too, just because I didn't want her like to blindside, but told her, she was like, yeah, that's fine. We just have one person on the agreement and like the check, because the way it works is you pick up a check. They don't do direct deposit. They'll write a check for what you make at the end of every month. That will actually come out of the rent too. So then I would just need to get with you to figure out like like, I would give you your money type thing, basically. I can Venmo you. Then like the online inventory, once you get signed up, you have a dealer number. So the dealer number goes on the tags, and then there's like a format you have to follow, but it's in the lease agreement, so there's more info on that. I haven't read through it yet. Then your username is your dealer number, and then the password you can like reset, but it's all cloud-based, so it automatically updates. She said we could start small and move to a bigger booth. That's fine, and you don't have to change your dealer number. I asked her like if there's anything selling like well right now, and she said it just really depends like what people are looking for. Last weekend they sold like a bunch of Crocs. I think those were like the like things that like they went through and bought all of them. Sometimes ducks or like fire trucks or whatever, but she said the primitive stuff doesn't do really well, which I don't think we'll have like primitive stuff. Oh, but she did point out a couple booths that do really well, and like some of them just have like a Mod Podge of stuff, which I feel like that's kind of what ours is. I asked her if she needed to see pictures of our stuff, and she's like, oh no, like we're good. And you can mix antiques like in with some of the other stuff, so that was good to know. I asked her about tips on displaying. We talked about like the hooks, and I did look at some of the booths. Like a lot of them have the hooks, or like even Jessie, like some of your shelves that you have, like we could put some stuff on there. She showed me like the different doors where you can come in and like get in and out. You can come anytime to like restock your stuff, like during the week, and then on the weekends you can come. If you're like bringing in like big furniture and stuff, they just ask you to do it between like 10 and noon, because they get pretty busy afternoon on the weekend, so they don't want to be opening the outside doors, because when you get to the door you just call and then they'll unlock it, because they're all like have like a alarm system on them. Oh, but right across the way from like the E9 one, there's like a little room, and they have like a shopping cart and like different things that you can use to bring items in the building. They'll file all the taxes, so we don't have to worry about that. They take the tax on the items and then they file them, so that's good. Like we don't need to worry about that. But I did ask her about like, do you find that like people like steal stuff, and they do have like mall walkers who walk and just keep an eye on things. But she said if something's like broken, they ask that the buyer pays 50%. But she said they don't seem to have like an issue with like people stealing stuff. But then again, like how would you know type thing. But it didn't seem like dealers had like asked her or like reported stuff like that. Oh, and then like at the end of the year, like you can claim like for a tax deduction, like the rent, your sales, and then the like mall fees. That's the scoop on my meeting with Kim. I guess, Jessie, we just need to figure out when we want to move in and make sure I think we have plenty of stuff we can put in the booth now. I'm excited! Ah!
Days later, we signed the agreement and picked our booth.
Alright, so we come down. You go this way. And this is the booth.
Once we knew we were going to be in booth E6 and had our dealer number 823, we obviously did the first thing first, make an Instagram. And then we got all of our items together, put it in a spreadsheet, put it in a paper sheet, started tagging everything with those descriptions and item numbers and prices. And then we honestly did a little mock setup in the garage to see how everything would fit before move-in day.
What it looks like on move-in day. Car is loaded to the brim. To the brim. Jessie's car is loaded to the brim. To the brim. Let's go to Gillies!
We gave Gillies a call to open door 6. They let us in and we got to work. We definitely used every minute of those 2 hours to get everything all set up, and unfortunately a little accident happened, which just adds to the memories. But we broke a piece of glass because I accidentally told Jessie to hammer something, and the glass on the frame in the next booth shattered. So we just replaced it, but off to a smashing good start. What didn't fit, we took back home and stuck back in the garage. Our very first item that sold was a cloud mirror that I had bought at Goodwill, actually. And then from there, we would just keep an eye on our inventory report and see what sold. And when we felt like we needed to take more items in, we would grab them from the garage, grab the wire basket, fill it, and restock the shelves. I'll never forget getting our first paycheck. It was so cool to see all of our hard work come together. We did have an incident where I thought some items were stolen, but they were just misplaced in another booth, which apparently happens. It was really cool when visitors were in town to show them what our booth was all about. Equally as awesome when people that we knew came and shopped our booth and found things that they loved. My garage did get a new shelving set. That is one perk from Gillies. One of the hot items in our booth was the euchre set. So you got a block and a set of cards for $5. As the seasons changed, so did our booth. One of the things I did every time I went in and swapped the booth is I took a photo of all three sides, just so we could kind of have an eye of what was coming in and out. And it was really helpful when we looked at our report on what sold to kind of see what gaps on things we needed filled when we restocked it. Jessie and I had a goal to make it to Christmas of 2020. We weren't really sure where this would go, and as much as it hurts that our booth, we ended up closing at the end of July in 2021, we felt so proud and accomplished that we made it that far.
What we have left, it's really not a whole lot. Christmas in July sale. This is our last together booth swap. Started off interesting. Jessie got a tick off my back.
Where? Oh no! That's how much he had on you. Like, that's what I had to pull off your body. Oh no!
Really, really lovely.
We got a tick off and redid the booth in an hour and a half. That's like,
honestly, like an hour. We are bidding our farewell for now to our lovely booth. We just, look at all the cool stuff we just put in it. This is literally it.
come to Gillies and buy our stuff.
We're not taking much home with us. And if you buy our stuff, then we can put more stuff in. This little stuff. But yeah, we love you.
Bye.
Over the next couple days, we sold and bought a couple things.
Our final load going into Gillies, door number 6.
It was only fitting that the song playing as we were wrapping things up was "Thank You for Being a Friend." All good things must come to an end. We had no idea that our pandemic project would make it a whole entire year. It was so fun to do kind of while things were dark and bleak and we just weren't sure where to turn. But, you know, life picked up again and we got busy and we just couldn't give our booth the time and attention that it deserved. So we packed on up and said our farewell, knowing that the journey's not over. It's more so until we meet again, because I have a really good feeling that this could and very well will make a fun thing to do later down the road, possibly when we're retired and looking for something to do.
We are full to the brim.
Until we meet again.